No matter where you go or what stuff you listen to in this world, we keep hearing, seeing AI this and Chat GPT that. And to me, it's all overrated. Yes, these and other programs can process stuff infinitely faster than we humans can do, but remember this, they are artificial intelligence, hence the name. Now, when I'm looking for inspiration for content, not just to have a run of the mill wrestling show, but sometimes these ideas just spring out in front of me. Now, later on in this episode, one such idea, which was a discussion born from an article apparently written by ChatGPT, well, I'll be discussing what I believe is right or perhaps wrong about what this ChatGPT article states. All this and more, and I better make way because here comes the theme music. G'day, wrestling mates. Welcome to episode 20 of If You See Kayfabe with your wrestling mate from down under, Southern Joe. To those that have viewed my previous episodes, a big thank you. And thank you to all new subscribers, and I hope you all enjoy the ride. Thank you to all those that have kindly thrown me a like, and I'll give a special shout out to a person who wrote me a nice comment on one of my previous episodes. Also, a humongous thank you to Ken the Dazzler Dunlop. Once again, his stories and his honesty about a business he dedicated his life to were brilliant. Don't forget, if you'd like to know his full story, I'll re-up his link to his autobiography, Dazzler Dunlop, Inside My Squared Circle, and I'll put that in the description and in the comments section. Now, two items I would like to add my comments to just before we go on. Firstly, the passing of Sika, the Wild Samoan. Now, you can easily make a case for Sika and his brother Arthur to be crowned the original heads of the table, as they were the patriarchs of the mighty Anoi family. I first remember seeing Arthur and Sika as the Wild Samoans on Channel 9's Wide World of Sport when they featured a match of theirs when they collided with Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas. Sika was also Roman Reigns' real-life father. Now, here is a photo of Roman laying his dear dad to rest. Arthur and Sika have led a dynasty of legends and have familiar ties with the Johnsons and the Mavers. Also, so rest in peace. Also, John Cena's retirement. He's been a top draw for the WWE for the best part of 23 years now, and he's branched off into making movies. There are those that have questioned Cena for retiring now when he's still in pretty good ring shape. Now, while all this is true, are these not the same people who winced at the sight of Ric Flair's last match, or continue to wince at Chris Jericho's current run? If Cena believes he's had enough, it's his decision. I say good on him for going out while he's on top and not tarnishing his legacy by going on too long. His movie career is a success, unlike some other wrestlers who tried to break into Hollywood only to make B-grade flicks. Better to make your millions without having to take a multitude of bumps if you can avoid it. As for Cena's last opponent at next year's WrestleMania, if the build-up is done right, I would like to see Cena in a match with Bron Breakker, as this would be Bron Breakker's true coming of age. Before we dive into the main event, I would like to share a comment from episode 18. Stop comparing WWE to AEW. It'll also tie in nicely with the main event. Someone named Dylan, and I won't go into the full username as I haven't sought permission, but it's in the comments section of episode 18, and he kindly wrote the following in response to my video about comparing AEW to WWE. I seriously hate people who compare the two companies. I can't escape it on my Facebook page. I seriously miss the days where wrestling fans were just wrestling fans and watched everything. Great video, by the way. Amen to that. Thank you, Dylan. It is truly humbling when someone takes time out to write a comment on a video by me, someone who's not famous, but a wrestling fan of around 55 years. Now, there'll always be differences between any company, but those differences are to be embraced, not tribalized. For proof, take a look at just 5 minutes of each of a bunch of alternative companies like MLW or TNA or even Chikara Pro, and you'll even see the odd wrestler you already recognize. In life, we're constantly asked to embrace diversity and inclusiveness. Admirable sentiments they are. So why don't we do all of that for wrestling? Okay, time for a break. Then it's time to come back with the main event, which will tie in perfectly with Dylan's comments. Welcome back to If You See Kayfabe with your wrestling mate from down under, Southern Joe. I'm a member of several Facebook pages, and many of the posts come up with the usual tribalism. Now, I'm also glad that many people are calling out this behavior of tribalism. On one such private Facebook page, which is simply called Wrestling Fans, a top contributor named Matthew posted an article which was supposedly written by Chat GPT. Matthew thought the article was spot on. I don't entirely agree, and obviously ChatGPT isn't one of the folk who watched episode 18 because they were still ready to give comparisons between AEW and the WWE. So this article is titled ChatGPT Decides AEW is Better Than WWE. Now I'll read each point and give my opinion whether right or wrong and why. There are several reasons why AEW is chosen over WWE. 1. Creative freedom. AEW is often praised for giving wrestlers more creative freedom in their promos and character development, leading to more organic and engaging storylines. While I agree with the first part of that statement, it doesn't always lead to better storylines. There are too many variables in what makes a story get over or not, or even if a character gets over or not. Now, for example, at the moment, Chris Jericho, who's in the twilight of a stellar career, it's got to be acknowledged, is constantly reinventing himself. Now, is this reinventing just to make himself stay one step ahead of the pack, or is he just trying to resurrect a career that is no longer over? His go away heat with the crowd suggests the latter. The Young Bucks were once seen as the future of tag team wrestling when All Elite started just 5 years ago. Now, they also have go away heat because their act is seen as stale and the ratings prove that they are a turn-off. This shows what happens when character development is left solely to the talent without guidance. Now counter that with MJF, who has organically gotten himself over, and it shows that his independent character development can work. But I would still generally like to see a booker and some assistant bookers drive the direction of storylines, no matter which company we're talking about. All wrestlers should have input as far as suggestions go for their characters, but there needs to be like a final line in the sand that says, okay, I've taken what you said on board, but this is what we believe is best for business. This is where WWE, for all its slickness and its formulaic segments, are still on a more solid footing. They have a balance between those that can read a crowd and cut a good promo, like a CM Punk, like a Drew McIntyre, or even Seth freaking Rollins. Whereas just about everyone else seems to need to be fed lines. Now that's okay as long as you can sell those lines. 2. Focus on wrestling. AEW places a strong emphasis on the in-ring action with a reputation for delivering high-quality matches. This focus on wrestling appeals to fans who prioritize athleticism and match quality. Most fans would like to think that this is what they want, but without storylines, most people don't carry an interest in seeing a match, just because it's about two people that we really like. Matches also need to resemble a competition between two individuals or teams that look like they want to win. Not just do moves just so they can get star ratings or hear "this is awesome" chants. Both companies have high quality matches, but they also have dreck as well. While AEW started out as a modern day alternative to WWE that did have a focus on wrestling, too many skits have taken over the shows and have made AEW virtually WWE light. 3. Talent utilization. AEW is seen as utilizing its roster more effectively, giving opportunities to a wider range of talent, including younger and independent wrestlers, rather than relying solely on established stars. Now, this would have been true at the start of AEW's run, but look at the acquisitions from the past 3 years or so. Amongst them are CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Copeland, the former Edge, Sting, Ric Flair, Mercedes Moné, Saraya, Miro, Andrade, Jeff Jarrett. These are all wrestlers that are well established and in some cases are past their best. Both companies have bloated rosters and simply cannot feature everyone equally. As is, trying to feature as many as possible all at once, it dilutes the product. Wrestling was hottest per capita when there was a main event focus and some strong undercards. The most constant complaint about AEW and WWE to a lesser extent is that some talent appear sporadically and disappear all of a sudden, not allowing them time to get over. 4. Fan engagement. AEW is known for strong connections with its fan base, often listening to feedback and making adjustments based on fan reactions. This engagement fosters a sense of community and loyalty among its audience. Now, AEW's core audience is loyal, no matter what criticism is thrown their way. But I don't believe AEW really listens to feedback. If they're content with half the audience they used to draw 2 years ago, fine, but they will perish. If they were to truly listen and evolve, they can grow. Will they catch up to WWE? Well, give it time. But the crucial part is they need to evolve. 5. Innovative storytelling. AEW has been praised for its creative and sometimes unconventional storytelling, incorporating long-term story arcs and continuity that reward dedicated viewers. Replace the words AEW with the Bloodline, and it's a correct statement. AEW has had storylines with great potential that have went nowhere. The Devil storyline took forever and it ended up resembling the old Black Scorpion farce. The current EVB storyline, well, that would have more impact if the Bucks stopped wrestling and tried to use their influence from backstage to help their friends. There's been no follow up on the supposed attack on Tony Khan, and the acclaims. They were so over, but AEW have let their steam all but run out. They should have evolved the acclaim even more so rather than let them wither. Now, let me know what I missed in the comments section below. 6. Diverse styles. AEW showcases a variety of wrestling styles, from technical and high flying to hardcore and intergender matches, catering to a broad range of wrestling fans. I agree with most of this statement. However, in this current climate where there is a focus on eradicating male on female violence, and particularly in domestic situations, I'm always going to be against intergender matches. Even if the female is someone like Awesome Kong up against Marco Stunt, I'm still against the concept. 7. Less scripted promos. Wrestlers in AEW often have more control over their promos, leading to more natural and passionate segments compared to the heavily scripted promos in WWE. I don't think this is a company versus company thing. Some of AEW's best promo wars were CM Punk when he was up against MJF or Eddie Kingston or even Samoa Joe. Now, what are the best promos on WWE right now? Looks to me like the stuff involving Punk against Rollins or Drew. And Cody Rhodes is delivering better promos in WWE than he did in MJF. But MJF is still best. But most people can't stand the Bucks or Monet doing promos. And mid-carders in WWE also struggle with promos. I'd call it a draw because there is good and bad on both sides, whether they are scripted or not. 8. New and fresh product. As a newer promotion, AEW is seen as fresh and innovative, offering an alternative to the more established and sometimes formulaic WWE product. Was seen as fresh and innovative. Now, unless you were an intrinsic part of the WWE system, while everyone else looked forward to the billionaire's son who could throw truckloads of cash behind a startup company that was seen as the best opportunity to challenge WWE since the start of TNA and the fall of WCW. WWE is still formulaic now, but less so since Triple H took control. But their formula's working. They're selling out 15,000 seat arenas. They have upped their production values, especially since Kevin Dunn has left. And I stated in episode 18 that WWE is too slick, whereas AEW is not slick enough. Their overall look is pleasing, but AEW just needs some sort of way to get over that last hurdle to make any good work that they do stand out better to the general public. The AEW product is not as fresh as it once was. They need a boost because their honeymoon period is coming to an end. 9. Wrestler-friendly environment. AEW is often seen as having a more wrestler-friendly environment with reports of better backstage morale and treatment of talent compared to WWE. I wonder if CM Punk and Sammy Guevara agree with this statement. If the stories are to be believed, you'll get along fine in AEW if you're friends with the right people. Now, I don't entirely agree with this, but also believe this artificial intelligence article may have been written before Triple H took over, when some talent did in fact wish for an alternative to WWE. But when you consider that CM Punk, who swore he would never return to the company that he said poisoned him for wrestling forever, and also Cody Rhodes, who left WWE to help start up All Elite, and other AEW talent have all jumped aboard the WWE train, it means there seems to have been a shift in the view of WWE being a talent friendly company once again. This Chat GPT article then has an each way bet with its conclusion. It says thus: these factors contribute to why some fans and critics might consider AEW a better promotion than WWE. However, WWE has its own strengths and a long standing legacy that many fans continue to appreciate. You know what this means to me? WWE has a 5-decade head start on All Elite. Now, some folk will hold on to their AEW fandom no matter what. Fair enough. But go back and watch episode 18 of If You See Kayfabe. You'll see that I'm basically saying it's all wrestling. There is good and there's bad in both companies and in other companies. Okay, rant over. Go out and enjoy wrestling. I also invite you to leave comments in the comments section, share the you know what's out of this video, and like and subscribe. Notification time as well. Now, if you're a wrestler or a promoter, I want to interview you. If you know someone with something wrestling related that they want to shill that's up for a positive chat, point them this way. The email ID is on screen now. Till next time, this has been your wrestling mate from Down Under, wrestling's oldest rookie content provider, Southern Joe, saying, hooroo.